How do we bring to Christ a little fulfillment? Good morning. My name is Father Frank Buckley. Delighted to be your host for our morning meditation group, Flourishing During Times of Uncertainty. Today is Tuesday, February 16th, and today is going to be a great day. Welcome. This is a three-part series. We begin with a little inspiration. This morning we'll be drawing from Pierre Teilhard de Chardin about looking at how to bring Christ to fulfillment. Second part will be our meditation practice, where we give the first part of the morning to God and then just allow the rest of the day to unfold as she will. And then the last part, something near and dear to St. Ignatius's own heart, a little Jesuit examine, where we look over the last 24 hours and notice where God has come alive in our everyday, ordinary, humdrum lives. So, without further ado, let's get this morning off to a great start with one of my very favorite Jesuit theologians, Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. And this is what he has to say. If it is true, as we know from the Creed, that souls enter intimately into Christ and God, and if it is true, as we know from the most general conclusions of psychoanalysis, that the perceptible enters vitally into the most spiritual zones of our souls, then we must recognize that in the whole process which from the first to last activates and directs the elements of the universe, everything forms a single whole. And he puts this in italics. Everything forms a single whole. And we begin to see more distinctly the great Son of Christ, the King of Christ, of the universal Christ, rising over our interior world. Little by little, stage by stage, everything is finally linked to the supreme center. In quo omnia constant. The streams which flow from the center operate not only within the higher reaches of the world, where human activities take place in a distinctively supernatural and meritorious form. In order to save and establish these sublime forces, the power of the Word incarnate penetrates matter itself. It goes down into the deepest depth of the lower forces. And the incarnation will be complete only when the part of chosen substrate contained in every object, given spiritual import once in our souls and a second time with our souls in Jesus, shall have rejoined the final center of its completion. It is through the collaboration which he stimulates in us that Christ, starting from all created things, is consummated and attains his plenitude. St. Paul himself tells us so. We may perhaps imagine that the creation was finished long ago, but that would be quite wrong. It continues still more magnificently at the highest levels of the world. And we serve to complete it, even by the humblest works of our hands. That is ultimately the meaning and value of our acts. Owing to the interrelation between matter, soul, and Christ, we bring part of the being which he desires back to God in whatever we do. With each one of our works, we labor in individual separation, but no less really to build the pleroma. That is to say, we bring to Christ a little fulfillment. Very interesting how Chardin talks about even the most basic work of our hands, we bring God to fulfillment. I was just reading this morning one of Carl Jung's suggestions for working with the unconscious, just the importance of having our feet on the ground through just basic work. So we work, and yet we also touch this completion of Christ through our contemplative practice. So again, we're always moving into what Ignatius invites us to be, contemplatives in action. Our little egos say put the accent on action, and yet Ignatius invites us to put the accent on contemplation. So with that inspiration in mind, let's move to our daily meditation. So I invite you to get comfortable, take your shoes off if you would like, get a little energy from the earth, and we'll begin as soon as I lower the lights. One of the ways we flourish is to unplug. So I invite you to unplug from all technology. I will get the timer started on 20 minutes. So you don't have to worry about that. I'll ring the bell to get us going, do a little guided meditation, and then we'll ring the bell to bring us out. So I invite you to lower the eyes, turn the gaze inwards. We go within or we go without, and we begin. Listen, listen, the sound of this beautiful bell returns us to our true home. As always, we begin with a little diaphragmatic breathing to get our morning grounded and bring us into our body. We do this simply by breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, all the way into the lower belly 3 times as a community. Together, inhale and exhale. Bring a little oxygen into our brain and our body. 2 more times. Inhale and exhale. Last time, deeply as possible. Inhale and exhale. Continue to breathe on your own. The body keeps the score. As always, we start with our feet. Feel the feet pressed onto the green earth, our mother, and just absorb the energy of the earth in this moment. Beautiful. Take the attention to the chair, providing support. And let's just reflect on where we felt a little support recently. A little higher on the body, we arrive at the shoulders. And here's just an opportunity in our body to surrender, to go over to the winning side, to let go, to lighten up. Moving towards the front of the body, we arrive at the heart. I invite you to take your hands to that heart, the place the spiritual world touches the physical world, cultivating an attitude of gratitude in our morning practice. See if you can come up with something in your life for which you're grateful, and just name it in one word. Gently place that word next to your heart, and as a community, let's breathe into the gratitude. Inhale and exhale, release the hands and just notice what you feel. And finally, we focus on an intention for our morning practice. Ignatius invites us to ask God for what we most deeply desire in our hearts, being courageous enough to ask God for something good and beautiful today. And we'll seal that intention with an inhale and an exhale. Continue to breathe on your own. God is as close to us as this air that we breathe. Engage your sacred word 4 or 5 times. Drop down and enjoy the miracle of contemplation. Please continue. Hmm. Gently bring your attention back to the room. If the eyes were closed, let's open the eyes. Let's circle the wrist a little, re-engaging with the body. Reverse the train, go the other way with the wrists. Happy Mardi Gras. Let's do a little stretching. Inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale, tip to the left. Inhale, back up. Exhale, tip to the right. Inhale, stretch. Beautiful little back bend. Look towards the heavens. Little forward bend. Excellent. One more time. Inhale, deep morning stretch. Exhale, release the hands. Shake out anything you've been holding on to. Happy Tuesday. Happy Mardi Gras. Very happy that you are all with us this morning, forming a little contemplative community. Many of you know that I am from New Orleans, so today is a very big day for my family history, and delighted to really be able to celebrate it with you, with none other than, let's do a little Jesuit examine. If you're new, tell us where you're from, or please feel free to welcome, to put any comments in the comment box about where God's come alive for you recently. So for me, we have our Jesuit community meeting at Colombier House every Monday, and Mardi Gras came early. Father Mark, our superior, went out to Porto's Bakery, one of my favorite bakeries in Burbank, and came home with the most delicious king cakes you have ever tasted. We're still waiting to see who found the baby Jesus in it, or the baby king, but they were many different colors, and being from New Orleans, I've had some pretty delicious king cakes, but last night's took the cake, so to speak. So that was a great way to start Mardi Gras. Second, where God came alive for me recently, I've been working on a little drug and alcohol recovery project for people living on the streets. And one of the things I can do is ideas just end up living in my head and never getting down on paper or concretized. And there's a little movement in that direction. So that was exciting yesterday. And then last but not least, let me just admit, he is not an easy read, but I love Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. Al Marcella, parishioner here, his wife Beatrice loved Chardin, and when he talked about it at the last Star Awards, it got me picking up and re-engaging with Chardin. And you know, as complicated as he gets, I will invite you, one thing that helps me keep it simple is just the earthiness of Chardin, that he really believed with all his heart that God was a decisive agent and character in the world and in our lives. Sorry, decisive character and active agent in our world and in our lives. And when we lean into the presence of Christ in the divine milieu, in the world around us, our world becomes much, much more beautiful. Thank you for tuning in with us on this beautiful Tuesday in Hollywood. Have a beautiful rest of the day. I can't wait to see you tomorrow. God bless you.